One of the reasons that people wear masks is they think that it's going to protect them from virus. But the virus isn't floating around in the air, so it's not protecting me against anything because it's not there. It's probably going to be on my hand because I've shaken hands with someone who's got the virus, and I have transmitted it. I have carried the virus to my face. If you're in an environment where everybody else is wearing a face mask and you're not, then it may make you feel vulnerable because you feel like you don't have the protection everyone else does. But logically, if you're not close to people, they're not coughing and sneezing on you, then a face mask isn't necessary. The virus enters the body through mucous membranes. We mean the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and it transmits from person to person, generally by us touching our eyes, nose or mouth, or if we're inhaling droplets directly from someone who is sneezing or coughing. The best way for the general public to protect itself against coronavirus and other respiratory viruses is really careful hand hygiene. So it's really washing your hands with either soap and water or alcohol gel if soap and water is not available, especially when you think that you've been exposed. So if you've been out in public places and touching kind of surfaces that other people might have touched, that really is the best way. And bringing attention to, am I touching my face? One of the problems, if lots of people who don't need face masks are using face masks or stockpiling them, it means that there aren't enough face masks available where they're really needed for people like healthcare workers who are on the front line and dealing with suspect or confirmed coronavirus cases. The vast majority of people are not susceptible to getting a severe infection. For most people, it will be a mild illness, like having a cold or a cough or the flu. It's the older people with comorbidities who are at risk, so you don't need to go and panic buy face masks.
Earn your software development degree online at DeVry. With over 85 years of driving tech innovation, you'll learn Python programming,
Healthy people are being warned against using face masks to protect themselves against the virus. As Justine Conway explains, experts fear incorrect use could lead to more infection.
It's becoming commonplace. On the streets and in supermarkets, people are increasingly wearing face masks, just as a precaution.
Wearing masks like that is wasting a mask. That's a mask that won't be available when it's actually needed.
The state government's advice on wearing face masks is in line with the World Health Organization. Under its guidelines, masks should only be worn if you have a cough, fever and difficulty breathing, or if you are healthy and taking care of someone with these symptoms and or someone with a confirmed case of COVID-19.
If you do not have these symptoms, you do not have to wear masks because there is no evidence that they protect people who are not sick.
If you must wear one, a regular surgical mask is best. They're intended for single use only. Masks with respirators, also known as N95 surgical masks, should be reserved for healthcare workers. Nationwide, there's a shortage, and only one manufacturing plant in Australia makes them. This is Medcon in Shepparton. It's gone from producing 2 million masks a year to almost 2 million a week, exclusively for those frontline workers. When you look at some of the masks people are wearing, you can see there is a huge range of products out there. And while they may offer some sense of security, experts warn if you wear a mask the wrong way, it could actually make you sick.
When I've been walking about, I've been seeing people touching the front of the masks, adjusting the masks on their face, and then going and touching other things. What we've got to remember is that front of the mask may be picking up different pathogens.
And the same goes for gloves.
What they also will stop is you actually washing your hands.
Justine Conway, 9 News.
So this is my first time purchasing wireless headphones, and after trying them out for a while, I can absolutely say these are the...
Good afternoon. The Prime Minister has heaped praise on New South Wales, its handling of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, saying it's managed the pressures of the outbreak and the impacts of the economy like no other state.
Healthy people are being warned against using face masks to protect themselves against the virus, as Justine Conway.
Just like any vaccine. And as you know, I have a pretty strong view on vaccines, being the Social Services Minister that introduced no jab, no pay. What is important to understand with any of these vaccines, it does protect you, it does protect your family, but it also protects the community. And as is the case with any vaccine, there will be some individuals who, for quite precise medical reasons, there can be issues with a particular vaccine. They and their safety and their health depends on the vaccine's take up more broadly in the community. That's how they get protected. And this is an important part of our vaccine strategy, not just on COVID-19, but more broadly. So we will be seeking its most widespread application, as we do with all important vaccines. But Paul, you may want to talk about how those practices are followed, and we'll be doing that, of course, in partnership with states and territories.
Thank you, PM. So, of course, the first will be a voluntary call for people, and I'm sure there will be long queues, socially distanced, of course, for this vaccine. It will be incredibly welcomed by many. It will be the absolute ticket to get back to some sort of normal society and the things that we all love and enjoy. So I think there will be a very strong take-up of this vaccine. Of course, there will be some that, for medical reasons, as the PM has said, may not be able to take the vaccine, but there'll be very strong campaigns to encourage people. And we've had experience before of linking vaccination with other programs, and all of those things will be looked at over time. But first thing we have to have is a vaccine that works, that is safe, and can be rolled out in large numbers. That's the key point.
We're here today to announce that we've signed a letter of intent with AstraZeneca, which will enable to Australia to access, should it be successful, the vaccine for COVID-19 here in Australia, manufactured here in Australia, distributed free to 25 million Australians in the event that those trials prove successful. There are around 160 different vaccine projects around the world today. Some of those are well advanced, like the AstraZeneca proposal, and that they're turning up with the University of Oxford. Others are still on their way and looking good too, like in the University of Queensland. There are many others, and Professor Brendan Murphy is heading up an expert panel which is advising the government on the other programs and the other projects that we can take positions on to ensure that Australia is incredibly well placed to ensure that Australians can emerge quickly in the event that a vaccine is developed.
Australia's Prime Minister has backed away from a suggestion that a coronavirus vaccine should be mandatory. After a backlash, Scott Morrison now says people will be encouraged to get themselves vaccinated. He says there will also be measures put in place to secure a high rate of immunisation. Australia has secured a vaccine deal that it plans to roll out cost-free to citizens. ABC's Jane Norman reports.
In the magic formula to protect against this pathogen, the biggest ingredient is hope.
I'd like to say there's a silver bullet when it comes to pandemic, and a vaccine is about as close as you get to one.
There's no guarantee we'll get one, but Australia's starting to position itself in case a vaccine's found. partnering with global drug company AstraZeneca to access one of the most promising candidates, Oxford University's.
Our ambition is to provide broad and equitable access to this vaccine around the globe at no profit during the pandemic.
The Oxford project is in the final stages of human trials, and Australia's not the only country interested. From the UK to the USA, Brazil to the European Union, contracts have already been signed and hundreds of millions of doses secured.
When the Prime Minister says Australians will have first access to this vaccine, he is simply not telling the truth.
Australia's signed a letter of intent. A formal agreement's expected within days once a local manufacturer has been locked in. That presents its own challenges.
It has never been produced in Australia. This is a massive scale-up.
While Oxford offers the most immediate hope, it's in a crowded field of contenders currently conducting drug trials. 2 of them here in Australia. There's never been a coronavirus vaccine, and the fastest any vaccine's ever been developed is 4 years. This time, there's growing optimism that scientists working at astonishing speed will strike gold. If that happens, the Prime Minister's promising the COVID-19 vaccine will be free for all Australians, and he wants all Australians to take it up, even indicating government payments might be withheld from those who refuse.
I have a pretty strong view on vaccines. Being the Social Services Minister that introduced no jab, no play, and I'll certainly be taking it on. My family will be taking it on. Now, I can play this.
And taking it across the Pacific too. Australia's promising to distribute a vaccine to the region. If all goes to plan, it could happen as early as next year. And that would be something to celebrate. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
All right. Shalom. All praise to the Most High.
From those who refuse.
I have a pretty strong view on vaccines. Being the Social Services Minister that introduced no jab, no play.
Sorry about that, Salaki. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rakakwadash. That belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. This video is just going to be Esau is a master at double speech, because if you notice, just from the videos, they want you to wear a mask, but then they tell you that the mask is not that effective in help you prevent the the virus. Then they want you to get the vaccine, but then they tell you that the vaccine is actually not, it's not a guarantee that it will, keep you from getting sick. So it's like they double speak. And I want to get that. I want to get that definition too. This is from the freedictionary.com, and the definition for double speak. It says, government, politics, and diplomacy, the practice of using ambiguous language regarding political, military, or corporate matters in a deliberate attempt to disguise the truth. And it's funny though. And I also want to get that word ambiguous. It says the practice of using ambiguous language. So I want to get that definition too. Ambiguous, open to more than one interpretation. Hold up. Yeah, it says open to more than one interpretation, doubtful or uncertain. And what is that code word for? Gray areas. If I tell you, hey, yeah, I want you to get this. Matter of fact, if I tell you I want you to wear a mask, but then I come back and tell you that, well, I mean, you could wear a mask, but it's not really gonna help you. If you choose to, you could choose to, or you choose not to. It's just up to you. That's a gray area, and that's what they do. So they're using doubtful or uncertain. Matter of fact, we're gonna go back to doublespeak. So they're using doubtful or uncertain language regarding political, military, or corporate matters in a deliberate attempt to disguise the truth or to hide the truth. And that's what Esau is perfect at. It's high. It's that's their thing. They're trying to hide this truth. Psalms chapter 12, starting at verse 1. It says, "To the chief musician upon Sheminith, a psalm of David, help, Most High, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fell from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak." That's how they come, with that double heart. Saying one thing and then saying another, all in the same. Really, they do it in the same breath too. Psalms 55 and 21. "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." And he comes speaking, all sweetly and nice, like we here to help you, but yeah, he waiting to kill you, he waiting to take you on out, trip you on up, catch you slipping. Psalm 28 verse 3. "Draw me not away with the wicked, and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts." That's that double speak. Like I said, saying one thing and then plotting and planning and scheming to do another. And that's what Esau is all about. This is Psalms chapter 64, starting at verse 1. "To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O God. In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked." Do they not meet in secret to see how devise these plans and see how they can take you jakes out? "From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect." And that's the hopeful, the elect. The ones who will be found with no guile. "Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?" So they do all this stuff, as we always say, behind the scenes and in secret. And you want to know why they do it? Let's get it. Let's see what they doing when they do that. Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down." Who is the accuser of our brethren? Esau, Edom. They literally vex you with going off and doing wickedness every step of the way you go in this life. And they accuse us, which accuse them before our God day and night. And that's what they do. But because they use double speech and they're so double-minded, there's so much division amongst them, that's how they're going to fall. Let's see. I want to get that scripture. It says a double-minded man. Let's see. Yep. James 1 and 8. "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Is not Esau Edom unstable? In every way you could possibly think of, they are literally unstable. They cannot be satisfied. It just doesn't matter. There is literally no end to their wickedness. But Scripture tells you how to deal with them too. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 12. Let's see. Start at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You can't trust Esau Edom. And that's our problem. Our people quickly forget who our enemy is. And listen, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So, say you got rust in this glass and, you washing dishes, you washing it and cleaning it, and then you wipe it dry, that rust still there. So it don't matter what he do, what he come with, all the love. Oh, man, you got to love everybody. I love you, brother. No, he going to come with that, and that wickedness and that mischief is still going to be there. Verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Never let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So we warning you of the beast coming. We warning you of him. And so if you get bitten, if you get effed over by Esau Edom, hey, we try to let you know. It's written right here in the scriptures how to deal with them and what not to do. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if you begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. Didn't it just say the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but there was war in his heart? Same thing. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find the opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Shit, he gonna make sure to take you out. If he get the opportunity to rule over you or take you down or whatever, he gonna take it. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So, I said all that to say, watch out for Esau's Doublespeak. It's like his doublespeak. He's a master at it. Hope you're edified. Shalom.